I think the thing that immediately hits me, it just reeks of idiocy, like total and utter idiocy. It's important for people listening to this that maybe haven't seen the clip to understand that this wasn't some sort of surreptitious recording. He is talking down the barrel of a lens. He is talking directly to the camera. He knows full well that he has been recorded, and he has opted into using this language, using this profane language about a football club and a referee. It's the height of idiocy. It's so dumb. What is the point? What are you benefiting from this? Yeah. In terms of the transgression itself, I don't know if I'm missing the point here, but ultimately he's called a former Premier League manager a rude word. I think most people, when they go home and they speak about their work, they could do that.
Do you not think, though, it's completely different, given the morals involved of being a referee, especially in the Premier League as well, that you have to be seen to the greatest extent to not have any biases at all?
No, and absolutely. You have to be seen to not have, you have to be seen to have absolutely no personal persuasion with regard to the managers that you are in charge of. Equally, the players, you can have no biases, and you can certainly have no club allegiance. But it is impossible in any industry for personal preferences to not have some sort of an impact.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The stupidity is saying it.
Yeah, exactly, and being filmed saying it. And the issue, I think, for him is that will always stick with him now.
No, he has to like.
Do you think he can referee again in the Premier League?
No, of course not. He will lose his job, and on some level, I think it's the correct. Well, actually, I do think it's the correct decision. I don't like saying things like that because you don't want to say things like people should lose their job. He's presumably he's a family man. It's his life's work. But the transgression is the foolishness. Ultimately, calling a former Premier League manager a rude word, I can't believe, there is no way that when David Ellery was a referee, he didn't have something fairly hostile to say about various football managers. There is no doubt that the other referees haven't got some personal persuasion about other football managers at the moment. But being caught, are you not allowed to have personal preferences? That's not the issue, is it? The issue is letting that personal preference be affecting your decision making. And I guess he would argue, I can have personal persuasions about certain people, but it will not affect my professionalism. In the way that loads of people go to work, they work for a boss that they don't like, and they don't let they don't let their own bias, their own affiliations affect their professionalism.
The wider point about how damaging this is actually for the PGMOL, because, let's be honest, and I know that we can almost have a laugh about it, but there have been Arsenal fans this year saying, there's a conspiracy against us, and there's been, fouls and decisions that haven't gone our way. You remember last season where we had Nottingham Forest doing a tweet about one of the VARs being a Luton fan and everyone laughing that off. But an incident like this, does it almost help claims like that, and even the claim from Forest in that instance, does it give it a bit more credence? Because we've seen someone who was a Premier League referee at the time expressing his opinions in such a coarse way as well.
That's the problem. It's the fact that he's done it. Ultimately, maybe I'm wrong here, but I believe that all referees will have their personal. They will like working with certain referees. They will find certain captains of teams more affable than others. They will find certain captains of teams more respectful than others. It's impossible to not have that. The foolishness here is looking down the lens of a camera and having that conversation, because you're right, it's the PR of the situation. We know what captains were like. We know that some referees would have enjoyed working with John Terry. Other referees would have hated working with John Terry. And those biases obviously exist. The problem is the fact that you never had a situation where Paul Durkin would say, I don't like working with John Terry. I think this of him. Use profane language and then say something derogatory about the team that he represents.
And it's the currency of it as well, isn't it? Because I think, there's been interviews with referees, haven't there? I'm pretty sure I've seen Mike Dean. They said, who was the hardest? Oh, yeah, I'd probably say Arsene Wenger, actually. He's done. He's finished his career. And in a sense, that's fine. David Coote would have known that this was during his career. He even says right at the end of the video that he doesn't want this video to go anywhere. So how did he not? How did he not realise? I've asked you whether he should referee in the Premier League, and you said no. Is there any way in a few years' time he maybe comes back at a lower level in the EFL?
Can I just ask you then? Ultimately, what he's done, he's called a former manager arrogant and then used a really bad word to describe a former manager.
Yeah.
That transgression, what do you think the punishment for that transgression is? How significant is that transgression?
I think because he's a referee and because that side of how you should present yourself is so important, I don't think that he should work in the English game.
Certainly
actually,
not in a Liverpool fixture.
No, but not in the Premier League, and I don't think in the EFL as well.
But what would the difference be, for example? Say he were to take charge when Bournemouth play Brighton.
I think the issue is that I know that he was specifically talking about Liverpool there, but I think that fans of other clubs would, and maybe rightly so, be able to sit there and go, but what does he think about my manager? What does he think about my club? You know, he so clearly has a bias and has an opinion and has expressed it in such a, you know, strong way that I think you'd be banged to rights as a fan to go, hold on. What does he think of my manager?
It's just moronic to say it on camera. Like, nothing else is that surprising. Like, there's no surprise that a referee has an opinion about a football manager. Like, it's impossible for someone to do their job and not have an opinion. You and I work together. You have opinions on me. They're very negative. I know that. It's
not in Vegas.
But it would be impossible. Exactly. It would be impossible for that not to be the case. You almost... And I don't like saying people deserve to lose their job. But the thing that I cannot wrap my head around here is having the conversation down the leg. You know, if this was some sort of surreptitious filming, some sort of like gotcha, I would be quite sympathetic to him because I believe that everybody will have these opinions. Yeah. What I cannot believe, and it actually makes me question his intellect, is that he is prepared to look down a lens and say these words. That's
the baffling bit for me. It really, really is. Any thing you've said about me before that you want to
well, the things I've said about you are totally, like, I mean, they are so below the belt. I could never say I could never say them. You should see you should see if you put your name into my WhatsApp chats. Oh my gosh.
One long bleep.
Hatred. And that's the politest thing I've said about you.
Oh my word. Well, there we go. David Coote has been suspended, impending an investigation as well. And for all intents and purposes, it does seem as if he would and maybe should be heading towards losing his job as well after that video. I think it's worth pointing out, Rory, by the way, that the language that we beeped out there, which we have to, of course, because as a national radio station, the language we beeped out there is very strong. You know, this isn't you know, swear words that we've beeped out because we have to. These are extremely strong words that he uses about Klopp and about Liverpool as well. Mr. Rory Jennings, how was Vegas?
Vegas was great. It's a good place, and I don't know if you find this, Ollie, but do you think that your personality and the company that you are to others is affected by the location?
No, I'm great everywhere. For example, I'm great everywhere.
You are great everywhere. I've only known you to be great, but I'm definitely better company in Vegas than I am in, London.
Where are you not good company?
Swansea.
It's so random, but you knew that straight off the bat.
Swansea. I'm not good company in Swansea.
I'll never go to Swansea.
I'm not good company. I don't think I'm great company in London, to be honest. But in Vegas, it really suits me. Everything that I want from life is in Vegas. So no, I had a good time. It was excellent. A really good trip. The only problem is I had no luck.
Yeah. Oh dear. Did the poker not go well?
The poker No, the poker went badly.
But the hedon I've been there as well. You have to be a real hedonist to enjoy Vegas.
Yeah, you do, but it's beautiful restaurants. Like people always think that it's synonymous with sort of debauchery or you know, Sin City and all that. But equally, one evening I went to a glorious restaurant called Sinatra's, and then I went to Cirque du Soleil, the Beatles. Like, I had no, you know, it was
no
wholesome. I could have been with my mum. It was completely wholesome.
Did you do any debauchery though?
I played a lot of cards badly. Played them all badly.
Yeah. Oh, that's a shame. That's a shame. Well, next time, mate, get me out there and you can see what type of person I am out in.
Leave it with me.
I actually maybe you don't want to see that. What type of person I am out in Vegas.